In this video, we will learn some 10 easy steps for freehand sketch. We will use HB pencil and 3B or 4B pencils. For a complete beginner, the very first thing one has to do is to draw straight lines. So let us try drawing straight lines between 2 points. Continue sketching a straight line now with putting dots. You should try to draw them as parallel lines. You should try to draw straight lines in one stroke and try to draw parallel lines. Now practice sketching little longer lines. Keep sketching even if they do not seem to be very straight and parallel. Try improving every time you are sketching straight lines. So these are slightly longer lines and try to make them straight and parallel lines. Notice how I am holding the pencil, though it is up to one's comfortability. Keeping about 2 cm longer pencil beyond your tip of the index finger will be a good practice. Keeping too short tends to give hard impression on the paper. This should be avoided, especially because during sketching you are likely to overdraw a line. This means in the first attempt, draw a faint line by softly touching the paper with your pencil tip. You can draw the line couple of times if necessary to darken the line. Now practice drawing vertical and parallel lines. You can choose your speed so that you are able to draw straight vertical lines and keep them parallel. Your writing speed for horizontal line and the vertical lines may be different. The line preferably should be drawn in one stroke rather than stretching it progressively. Too much of waviness can be avoided by one stroke line drawn at a convenient speed. Straight lines should also be practiced inclined, like hatching lines. So these are hatching lines. So sometimes in freehand sketching you can use hatching and vertical lines or straight lines to show 3D effects. Similarly, hatching lines can also be drawn in this way. So in both directions you can draw hatching lines. Another way of practicing straight lines is to draw radiating lines in all directions from a point without rotating the paper. So this way you can see which direction of the line is more convenient to you. In some directions you are able to draw very straight lines, whereas in other directions you may find it a little bit difficult. Now we will practice curve. So you can draw any kind of curves. Practice making curve by drawing number 8 or any curved lines. And one important thing is that we should always move the whole hand from our shoulder rather than only using the wrist whenever we are drawing curve or a straight line. Now we will practice ellipse. So next we should practice drawing ellipses of various sizes or aspect ratios. So the ellipse also should be drawn in one stroke. Again, the speed of sketching should be adjusted according to the convenience. It is important to adjust one's drawing speed for each shape so that one is comfortable in drawing that shape. Let us practice drawing more ellipses. You can draw the minor axis and the major axis and see whether both sides are equal in size. So next we will practice triangles and squares. So these are shapes made of straight lines. So basically we will use dots and connect the dots to create triangles and rectangles or squares by freehand. After practicing drawing square, let us now give 3 dimensions to it by drawing a cube. So now we will practice cubes. So this is a normal cube in which one face or the front one is drawn in true size and the other visible faces are inclined. This is normal way of representing a cube. Let us draw the isometric view of a cube. So this is the isometric view of a cube in which the inner edges are not visible. So this is not a transparent cube. Now we will make this a transparent cube by drawing the inner edges. So now if the inner edges are visible, then it is a transparent cube, like when it is made of glass. Cube has three sets of parallel edges. So the vertical edges, then these inclined edges on this side, and another set of inclined edges on the other side. So we will draw the same cube, but in a way that the parallel edges seem to actually meet at a distant point. So these edges, which are supposed to be parallel, but in this drawing we will make it seem to be meeting at a distant point. Now other set of parallel edges also will be meeting at a point, and this meeting point is also called vanishing point. So they have been drawn in an inclined way such that they are going to meet at a far distant point. And these parallel edges will also be drawn in the same way. So we have three sets of parallel edges, and we have selected three vanishing points. And these parallel edges seem to go to meet at a distant point. So this kind of drawing is known as perspective drawing, and this is 3-point perspective drawing, because here we have used 3 points, 3 vanishing points to draw the parallel edges. So we will sketch the vanishing point and how these parallel edges could meet at the vanishing point. This cube is drawn in 3-point perspective, as the parallel edges seem to meet at a distant point, which is known as the vanishing point. This kind of drawing gives the perspective of objects looking smaller as they are farther from the observer. Let us practice shading a cube for 3D appearance. So this is the direction of light source. The arrow represents the direction of light source, and 1, 2, 3, these numbers represent the level of darkness or value of shading. So number 1 will be the lightest, and number 2 is in the middle, and 3 is the darkest. We will use 4B pencil for shading purpose. So this side has middle value, which is number 2, which basically indicates the amount of light that is falling on the surfaces. And this surface, which is at the back side, will be the darkest. So the value is decided based on which face will get the maximum amount of light and which face will get the minimum amount of light. And this is very important for a 3D, three-dimensional look of the object. So the straight edges can be sharpened by drawing lines using a ruler. So drawing line using the ruler gives some sharpness. Let us see how the value of shading can be practiced by shading from very dark to very light. So you can use 3B or 4B pencils and apply different levels of pressure on the pencil. So top part is very dark, and as we go down, the value is reducing. So it is getting lighter. Let us practice one more time, starting from very dark value to very light value. So now we will practice circle. So you can draw a circle freehand. Do not use your wrist, but rather use your whole hand from the shoulder. And again, you choose your speed according to your convenient one, so that you are able to draw a circle conveniently. You can check the roundness of the circle. So we should draw in one stroke rather than drawing this way, because this way you cannot get a very smooth line. So always practice drawing in one stroke. So we can create 3D effect on a circle to make a sphere. This is done by shading the circle with different value. So just now we have learned about the value of shading. So we will use different value of shading to create 3D effect, so that a circle can be transformed into a sphere. This arrow indicates the direction of light falling on this sphere. So now we are practicing sphere. So since light is falling from the top right side, so top right side will be the lightest and the bottom left side will be the darkest. So this end of the sphere will be very dark. These pencil marks also show some 3D effect in a way. So we should draw such that these pencil marks also has some 3D effect. So we will make the edges, the lower side of the sphere will be darker, and the side which is directly opposite to the light source will be the darkest. Now since light is coming from the top right side, we can make a shadow. So this is called cast shadow, and the lighted part is called highlight. Let us practice drawing another sphere. In this case, the light source is from the top left side. So the top left side of this sphere is brightest, and the right bottom side is the darkest. And we will make the cast shadow on the bottom right side. So the cast shadow will be also very dark, and the bottom part of this sphere will also be very dark. So basically we have used different value of shading to create this 3D effect. So now we will practice cylinder. So a cylinder can be drawn by drawing ellipse, two ellipses, in fact the top and the bottom, and two parallel lines. So the top surface of this cylinder is visible as elliptical shape. And let's take the direction of the light coming from the top right side. So we will do the shading. So on the left side will be dark, and on the right side it will be brighter. So now the leftmost part of the cylinder should be made very dark because this is directly opposite the light source. And if it is an empty cylinder, then we can also shade the elliptical part, the top surface. Now the right edge is visible in this case, so in order to make it less prominent, we can do the background. So on the brighter side of the cylinder, we can provide darker background so that the right edge can be made little less prominent. So you can use a ruler and then you can draw this shading, which is basically the background of this cylinder. So a brighter object should be given a darker background, and darker object should be given a lighter background. So this is the cylinder, and we can also make the cast shadow of this cylinder. Again, like before, we will make the cast shadow very dark. Let's make another cylinder, and this time we will use vertical lines to indicate its roundness. So draw vertical lines. Initially on the sides we will draw vertical lines which are close to each other, and as we go further we will make the separation distance more and more. So this gives another 3D effect, and it shows that this surface on which we are drawing vertical lines is actually a curved surface. So next we will sketch a cone. So we can use ellipse and a triangle, the straight lines. So first we draw the ellipse and then the axis of this cone, and then we can join to show the edges. Again, we will use shading technique to show the 3D effect or the roundness. So this is the base part, which is elliptical in shape here. And the direction of light is again from the top right. So on the left side of this cone will be darker. So this shading value will be dark. So the edges should be made a little bit sharper by redrawing a line. So these edges can also be sharpened by using a ruler. So let us draw a tilted cone. We will fast forward this part of the video. Now let us draw a cone and its cast shadow. We are fast forwarding this part of the video as well. Now this is the cast shadow of this cone. So again, light is falling onto this object from the top right part, so the cast shadow is on the left side. So this cone with cast shadow is ready. So now let us draw a pyramid. A pyramid is also a very useful shape for engineering. Various kinds of buildings and different shapes are made of pyramid. So we will draw a square base pyramid. So a pyramid has a base and the apex. So the base of this pyramid is a square, and we are making the slant edges. They all go and meet at the apex. Now for this pyramid, only 3 slant edges will be visible from this side. So that means 2 of the triangular faces will be visible. So we will do the shading for these 2 triangular faces, and the light is falling from the left side. So the left triangle will be given lighter value, and the right side, the right triangle will be given darker value. So this triangular face is lighter value. We are again fast forwarding this video. And this triangular face will be of darker value because this is the back side of the light source. So this square pyramid is ready, and we will sharpen the edges, the slant edges and the base edges by drawing lines using ruler. Let us draw another pyramid in different orientation. So again we are drawing the square base pyramid, which is upside down. So the apex is actually downward and the base of the pyramid is visible. So in this case the base of the pyramid and 2 of the triangular faces are visible. And the light is falling from the right side. So one surface has got the lighter value, which is number 1, and the surface which is on the back side is of darker value, that is number 3. So we have selected the base for medium value. So this is number 2. So slightly darker than number 1, but not very dark. So now face number 3 will be the darkest. So as you can see, shading technique is a very good way of giving 3D effect to any object, whether it is spherical or pyramid or cone, cylinder and so on. So different edges of this pyramid should be sharpened by a ruler, using a ruler and the pencil. So another pyramid is ready. So finally we will return back to the perspective drawing and draw a set of long stairs in one point perspective. So these kind of stairs you will see in many public places, so where these stairs are long in length. The far end of the stairs look smaller in size. So this is done by drawing one point perspective. This point is the vanishing point. So all the edges seem to be vanishing or meeting at one point. So we will draw all the edges of this stair. They are all meeting at the vanishing point. So the other end of the stairs can be drawn by drawing the lines following these edges or the rays as they meet at one point. The remaining part of these rays can be removed by erasing. So now this is a set of long stairs in one point perspectives. That means the edges of the stair seem to be going to meet at one point. These edges of the stairs should also be sharper. Direction of light, so let's say that light is falling from the top, so these vertical part of the stairs will be seen as dark, so they will be shaded by dark value. The horizontal part of the stairs will be all brighter. So far left side of the stairs can also be shaded. Again it will be darker because the light is falling from the top right side. So we should sharpen the long straight edges using a ruler. So this is a set of long stairs in one point perspective. So in this video we have practiced 10 different shapes or 10 different ways of practicing freehand sketching. And we have learned that shading is a very important technique for creating 3D effect. You can also create similar kind of 3D effect by drawing lines and hatchings. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any comments, please write them down here below.